they have more than enough professionals and technocrats in their countries, but in their capitalistic nature, they are not willing to pay those professionals their own fair share of salaries. So they will prey around on African and Asian countries who they think are desperate to extract the best of the brains.
Nigerian doctors recruited to practice in the United Kingdom are being professionally exploited. This was a report that was written by the British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC. And they said that doctors are being overworked to the detriment of the patients. There's also a possibility of the laws being broken in recruitment process as being handled by a British healthcare company. Now, the report states that the investigation found evidence that doctors from Nigeria are being recruited by a British healthcare company and expected to work in private hospitals under conditions not allowed in the National Health Service, that's the NHS. So BBC had to, speak to some of the practitioners, and a particular doctor who said he works in Health Leeds Hospital that was recruited in 2021, Augustine Enekwechi, said his hours were extreme. He has to work 24 hours a day for a week, and he was put in that hospital space. He was not allowed to go out, so he felt like he was in prison, meant to deliver. So he said the tiredness was very intense. There were times he was worried he could not properly function, and that was also, he was so scared it was also going to affect the patient he was, being treated. The reports that 92% had been recruited from Africa and 81% were specifically from Nigeria. And they all complained about excessive working hours and unfair salary deductions. So I think there was a time the World Health Organization warned that they should not actively recruit from, underdeveloped countries. They should focus on building their own doctors. But that warning was not heeded. They still went ahead. They were recruiting from places like Ghana. There were other countries aside from Nigeria that had their doctors all over in the UK, and all of them kept complaining that.
Hey friends, how you all doing? I hope you're having a great weekend and getting the rest that you deserve. Try to get as much rest as you can. You know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about what is the criteria to measure education. Certainly not the proficiency and fluency in English language, because for most people across the globe, English language is foreign to them. It's not their ethnic or native language, so they are not obligated to master or perfect the art of English grammar, because I've been seeing people acting like a grammar police in social media, and that is reprehensible. To me, that's another form of cultural domination, in my opinion. But in my theory, I think the true measure of education is having a little tiny knowledge in most subject matters, especially history. History is very important. It's the record of important events. History serves as a guide and also to help us navigate our current or present and future challenges. But in the world of superficiality, we have neglected history or dismissed the depth of knowledge. And so, we have allowed some repugnant historical events to repeat. And quite frankly, we are glad to be active participants in such savagery. This brings me to my topic of today, brain drain. I'm still talking about this topic because It is serious. It's an existential threat to both African and Asian continents. It's a threat to the development and the progress of these two continents. And someone needs to stop the West. This is nothing new. This has been going on for more than 5 or 6 centuries. What do you think is the reason for transatlantic slave trade? The reason is free labor. Right from the beginning, the Western countries have seen Africa for 2 purposes. One is to harvest mineral resources that they can repatriate to their countries, manufacture it, and ship back to African markets to generate resources for their nations. The second purpose is to harvest human capital and workforce. This is why they forcefully removed our ancestors from the shores of Africa to build United States, United Kingdom, and all of the European countries. France, Portugal, Spain, Belgium, all of them was built on the back of the slaves. And to protect the supply of the workforce, they will sow the seed of discord, chaos, and crisis in African nations. They will influence and confuse their governments. This is all in efforts to keep Africa poor, needy, and economical, downtrodden. And they will come back and act like our savior. An African leader that understands them, that will not let them control them, they will find a reason to take them out. Muammar Gaddafi comes to mind. May his soul rest in peace. When are we, Africa, going to be wise to actually see what is the cause of our problem? The 800 pounds elephant in the room. But oh well, what do I know? What is different from the brain drain and transatlantic slave trade is that the visa program that they're offering you is the replacement of the slave ship. Simple. They're not giving it to you because they love you. No. They are giving it to you because they want to steal your brain. They are extracting you for cheap labor. Because of course, they have more than enough professionals and technocrats in their countries, but in their capitalistic nature, they are not willing to pay those professionals their own fair share of salaries. So they will prey around on African and Asian countries who they think are desperate to extract the best of the brains, to add to what they have already. These countries are fully developed. They have everything. My question is, why aren't they leaving the developing continents alone? Why aren't they giving them the chance to grow, to progress, without extracting the few professionals and technocrats they have in these continents? At what point are the Western countries going to grow some moral authority and conscience to back off from Africa and Asia? At what point are they going to be completely satisfied with what they have already at the expense of African people? But apparently it doesn't look like this is going to stop anytime soon, especially if we continue to take this bait. How do they sleep at night when they extract all the medical professionals added to the tons of professionals they have already, and people are dying in Africa of common ailment? Because there are shortage of medical professionals and doctors in African nations. How does the West feel? How do we feel as Africans and asking people in this profession, looking over to your country of origin and people are dying? How do you feel? Do you think you have given back to your nation? Because your absence is killing your country. The people that need the most help are Africans. But you let them brain drain you. And sadly, all you can get is a bit comfort to feed yourself, but not a generational wealth. Because they're going to exploit you intellectually, physically, exploit your career. When are we Africans? When are we going to learn? My dear brothers and sisters, we are remembered by the contribution that we made to the world around us, contribution that we made to our society, communities, and the nation, the impact that we made on humanity, the impact that we made on people who need help. We are not remembered by how much money that we have in our bank account when we were alive, or how much money we made. No one is remembered for that. But people will always remember those people who impacted them. That's a rich legacy that we all should be aspiring to keep, because people who facilitated change in their communities are never forgotten. They live in the mind and the consciousness of the people they helped when they were alive. In our pursuit of wealth, materialism, affluence, we should also remember there is this other side of life. That is recognizing what our call is. Because if we are called to do something and we don't do it, this is going to haunt us. And we will never be fulfilled in life, no matter how much money we make. I just want to leave this. And I'm hoping that our ancestors is going to help us, to give us the vision to find what is our call in life. Our call is not to continue to be a cheap labor or a free labor for those people who has continued to treat us like savages for the past 5 centuries. Thank you, my lovely people. Please, if you haven't subscribed already, could you please push that subscribe button and the black notification bell? Watch my videos, like, share. Help me grow this channel. It's tough. It's really tough. I can count on you. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace.